Hello, everybody. This is Zach's at it again. I'm your host, Zach Cooley, and I am here with my friend Todd Wolford. He is the executive director of Downtown Wytheville Incorporated. He was also the subject of a new film that has come out. It's on YouTube now. Downtown Wytheville, A Story of Revitalization. Thank you so much, Todd, for being with me on the program today.
Yeah, Zach, thanks for having me, man. I'm honored to be here and chat with you.
Well, it's an honor to chat with you because when I saw this film, who the guy who created it is one of my closest friends, Corey Parker. I call him the maestro because he is a genius when it comes to filmmaking and a true gift to Wythe County and Wytheville. I know you agree.
Sure,
But
yeah, sure.
you and I have known each other a very long time. I remember you. Even it's hard to remember a Todd Wolford before the days of Downtown Wytheville, but I remember Todd Wolford when he worked at Parks and Rec, and
Yeah.
your brother Brandon, who is always Wolfie to me. Um, we've been friends going on 25 years. Is he still at the rec center too?
Yeah, he's still currently there. Yeah.
And doing great things over there. And
Yeah.
we're glad to have him. So, when you and I know and I've known your lovely wife Megan for years. She's always been a great friend of mine. And you have a beautiful daughter. What's your daughter's name?
Her name's Ellie, and today's her birthday. That's
Her
right.
first birthday. Well, happy birthday, sweet Ellie. You have a beautiful family, and congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
And my love to Megan and Ellie and Wolfie and everybody.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah. But I saw this film because if Corey says I got a new film, I'm gonna go watch it because he truly is a master. And if you don't win this campaign, something's got to be fixed somewhere because it is a brilliant film. It is a brilliant dialogue through the history of and I knew this history, because
Yeah.
I've lived here all my 40 years. I've spent half that time writing the column in the newspaper, so I knew all of this in the timeline and I knew the history was correct. But when you watch those side by side pictures of the dilapidated buildings and the pieces of concrete out of the streets
Yeah.
and where it is, it's like it is incredible what you folks have done.
Yeah, it's a reminder to the folks that see it as it is now and see
Mm.
it beautiful and thriving, and it's just a reminder of where we've come from, and quite frankly, the 10-year period that we've kind of done this work is why we were chosen by Main Street America as a semifinalist. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a nice reminder for folks to see it the way it used to be, because some folks only remember it like it is now. But we need to constantly remind people where we've come from.
Absolutely, and where we were in the 1940s and 1950s that we're trying to get to again, in a sense.
Yeah, in a sense, yeah, that's I would say that would be the goal.
Yeah, I mean, and and what the reason I said really that I want to talk to you and do this story is because, well, two reasons. Number one, I saw the film and I said, I want to know how a $12 a week peon newspaper columnist can be a part of this big campaign. When I saw this, I said, I want to be a part of this campaign and I want to contribute some way to what is being done here. Because there are two things in my life that I wanted to see brought back to life. And it was the George Wythe Hotel. It'll always be the George Wythe Hotel to me because
Sure,
my
yeah.
my great grandparents spent their wedding night there on Easter Sunday in 1944, and then he died 3 months later of cancer the day my great grandmother found out she was pregnant with my grandmother.
Oh
And
wow.
then 70 years later, my great grandmother is 92 years old. She takes her last photograph with her great great granddaughter, that's my daughter, and we're talking about the opening. And I said, I'm gonna get you to that opening some way, And she died the like a month before the hotel was open.
Oh
So
wow.
lot
Yeah.
of lot of personal history with me for that hotel, and it means so much to me. And then there's the Millwall Theater.
Yeah.
I and my mother before me grew up in that theater. Some of the brightest moments of my childhood were back when Eisner was the head of Disney and he re-released all those classic animated films. And we
Hmm.
we were we were four people going in different directions, but we came together and all went to the Millwall when those Disney films came out, and it was uh, an unforgettable part of my childhood. So my dream was to see those two entities be brought back to full fruition, and because of Downtown Wytheville, they have been. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a great thing to see overall for sure.
out of all the things that you've accomplished, are those certainly two of the highlights, or is there some that mean
Sure.
more to you personally?
Well, yeah, certainly. The hotel was honestly, the hotel was revitalized as we were starting as an organization. So
Okay,
yeah, the hotel was kind of a catalyst for um, what was getting ready to happen. So that was kind of like,
great.
okay, the hotel's going to be revitalized. That's going to add 30 plus rooms for folks to travel and stay in the heart of downtown. Now we've got to figure out, we got to give them a reason to stay there. Because at the
Mm-hmm.
time when it was revitalized, there wasn't nearly what there currently is right now. So certainly I view that as a catalyst for um, just the front end vision on what was going to happen by Bill Smith and his family. Um, and then the Millwall obviously is a huge project because you don't revitalize Main Street and leave the theater sitting there
Mm-hmm.
in the condition that it was. Very challenging project to work on and try to figure out how all the funding was going to play out, and this thing was going to come to fruition and what it is today. I can't say enough about working with the Lester family because when we went into this, they had no interest in selling the theater. So
Mm-hmm.
not that we had to, kind of like sell them on doing that, but what we did is we did a feasibility study, and they got excited through the process of bringing this back to life because what they were scared of is they were scared of selling it to somebody that would turn it into something that wasn't a theater.
Right.
So so our goal, we had to build trust with them as an organization, and they were part of the feasibility, and they actually got really excited about what we were trying to achieve there. So it was once they saw that we wanted it to be a thriving theater and destination for Southwest Virginia, not just Wytheville, they got really excited, and they were just a part of the process and some of the biggest cheerleaders we had in the beginning to see it through. And certainly, those two were big, and then the Moondog and Seven Dogs were big as well from a business recruitment standpoint to generate foot traffic and private investment from those investors and business owners. So yeah, those were some of the things that really jump started our revitalization effort.
And my small part, a very small part in Millwall revitalization history is I was, God bless the late wonderful Jackie King, who's a dear
Mm-hmm.
dear dear friend of mine. She
Yeah.
recommended me to be on the Wytheville Industrial Development Authority committee, and in those things we all take turns. Everybody has a turn at being chair and vice chair, and as it so happened, I was the chairperson when the contract was signed, when the town of Wytheville bought the theater back from the Lester family, and my signature is on that contract. So I'm very, very proud of that. My name is somewhere a part of that history. That means so much to me.
That's awesome, man. That's cool.
Even though, as I said, I want to be a more significant part of this campaign, because the town of Wytheville is the only place I ever want to live. I don't think the Magic Kingdom and Disney World is going to be selling real estate property, and if they do, I don't think it's going to be in my tax bracket. So outside of that, I think the only place in the world I'd want to live is Wytheville. So to see it revitalized and as it is truly something I want it to become a more significant part of. So I guess that's my question to you. How can I, as somebody who is, the bottom rung of the totem pole, how can I be a bigger part of the campaign?
Sure, that's a great question, and to back up a little bit on what this arrangement looked like in the beginning. So our goal as Downtown Wytheville was to get the property acquired, do the feasibility study, get everybody to understand, get the town of Wytheville to understand this is a feasible theater, and work through the process with acquisition and all that stuff, and work through the construction and get it back to to where it's a theater. And then our organization, rather than Downtown Wytheville operating the theater, we spawned a new nonprofit called the Millwall Theater Incorporated.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't tell this story without talking about Mark Bloomfield's and what all he brought to this project, and how he really just kind of took the lead on many things when it comes to the theater. But the Millwall Theater Incorporated was born to basically, at post construction, to operate the theater and do what you see today. So there's two separate boards now. You have our board, and then you have the Millwall Theater Incorporated. And certainly Donnie and the crew there are always looking for volunteer opportunities, as we are as well. But that would be the avenue to get involved with the Millwall Theater, is to work with the Millwall Theater Incorporated and figure out, what they might need.
I'm not just talking about, for me, the Millwall Theater. I'm talking about being a part of the revitalization campaign for Downtown Wytheville, which is what this wonderful film is all about.
Sure, yeah. We're always looking for volunteers, and there's opportunity at times when we're looking for board members. So, we welcome anybody to be involved with what we're doing when the opportunities arise, and we can certainly keep you posted on what those opportunities look like.
Well, certainly, if you think I'm qualified, I would love to be a part of Downtown Wytheville. I know there's some great people that you work with. There's some great stories, like with Charlie Jones, started as one of the youth members, and now he went to school, and he came back, and he is a very important part of Downtown Wytheville Inc. Deb King has been my mother's best friend since they were probably 5 years old. And her artistic skills and marketing ability is second to none. She set up the interview 20 years ago that got me started with my job at the Enterprise, which is the only job I've ever had. And if I last till July, I'll be there 21 years. So, I owe a lot to these folks, and you have talk about some of these people and
Oh yeah, man.
some of the great things that they bring to downtown Wytheville.
Yeah, I can't say enough about all these people, and
Mm.
we're very strategic in getting the right team together that we can. And Deb King has been with us for quite a while. Deb is wonderful. We
Mm-hmm.
When we do our sign grant, when we work with small businesses on developing branding and signage, the appropriate signage for their buildings and businesses, Deb is the first person I contact, and Deb has done so many graphics and so many branding campaigns for small businesses. A lot of the nice signs that you see in our downtown, Deb King has her touch on that,
Yeah.
and it's such a wonderful service to offer to small businesses that we can help them with their logos and their storefront signage. And Deb has been, I mean, it's Deb and I are like, I mean, we work so well together when it comes to that. And we've got, like you mentioned, Charlie. Charlie's been a game changer for our organization. We got him as a youth board member and just come full circle
Tr-
college, and he's back home now. He's a young person. It's hard to attract young people at times, but Charlie's working with us now, and Josh Pennington, Shane Terry. I mean, I could keep going. Patricia
mm.
Austin, who moved back to the community, who works with us now. Megan Bakavoy, who's a local teacher. Beth Cochran, Rob Kern. I mean, I could go on and on about the board members that we currently have and our past board members. I mean, and so many great volunteers that have worked with us to make it what it is today.
Well, and while we're talking about people, let's talk about our mutual friend Corey Parker and what an amazing job he did with this film.
Yeah, Corey's the man.
He is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He is, as I call him, maestro, because he is the maestro. Nobody can touch what he does.
Yeah.
And
I
and
just yeah, I'll go on and on about Corey, so you may have to cut me off. But
oh, and I'll be right there with you, so it's all right.
I knew Corey from high school. I'm a couple of years older than he is, but obviously we went our separate ways after high school, and we've kept in touch. We've seen each other in passing, but never really had a chance to collaborate like we did on this video. So when I knew Corey was starting his business, I wanted to try to support him, and he's done some drone footage for us and photography. And when we had the idea to pull this video together as part of our semifinalist announcement, it was just a no-brainer that I was going to talk to Corey. And he may tell you it's a pretty big undertaking for him, because when it comes to telling the story correctly and accurate, I'm pretty OCD about making sure that's done correctly. And uh, it took us a long time. What was about I don't know, probably a month project turned into about a 3 month project. And I just can't say enough things about Corey. And I think he fell in love with the project and telling the story. And he found out a lot of things he didn't know about what we were doing. And I think
Mm-hmm.
he really um, gained a good understanding and really respected all the things that had gone into this, because sometimes when you see it from the outside looking in, you don't know all the details and the process that goes into what happens. And I think when he found that out, he was kind of blown away, and then he really wanted to tell the story in an accurate way, as did I. So I can't say enough good things about Corey, so I'll just stop there. Corey's
Yeah.
the man, and um, he's a great guy.
And I feel exactly the same way. There are two other things that I
Okay.
wanted to ask you. Because of the film, I think the film is going to do great things. It's certainly not going to hurt the campaign, and we hope that you win. We won't know if you won,
Right.
until April. But
Mm-hmm.
I when I saw the film, I messaged you and said, "Well, do you want me to do an article now or an article when you win? Because if you don't win, it will be beyond me and mine. I want to see the winner if you don't win, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a brilliant piece, and
Thank you.
and a town that certainly deserves this. So if you do win, what will that mean for Wytheville?
Well, I think what we've done through the process, and really the reason we were chosen is because we're not saying we're better than any other community, or we're not viewing ourselves that way. It's really the process and the rapid pace that we've done this level of revitalization. So in the
Mm.
Main Street world, it takes some communities 20, 25 years to get to what we've done in basically 10 or 11.
Mm.
And I honestly think that's why we're viewed in this conversation for the Great American Main Street Award. And if we do win, it just really puts us in a conversation that, quite honestly, I didn't really think was attainable in
Mm-hmm.
seeing some of these other communities that have won in the past and the conferences that I go to. But
Mm-hmm.
just started to hear their stories and kind of started to hear what they were doing, and I was thinking, like, we're doing a lot of that stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yes, we're a smaller community than some of these communities that have won, but that doesn't mean what we're doing is less impactful. It's actually more impactful in a smaller community that we're able to do these things. So I started to think to myself, I think we can. I think we might have a shot at this, and the the second in charge of Main Street America kept telling me, he's like, I think you guys got a chance. And so when we were nominated, I was like, okay, we're in the conversation, so we're a semifinalist. So,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm in something, I want to win it. So I felt like doing that film with Corey was an opportunity to really, really solidify and tell our story in a way that people would gravitate to. And,
Helps
and
helps to
yeah,
have the maestro right here in
that's right.
town, doesn't it?
That's right. So, I think if it wins, it's really just going to put Whitfield in the conversation of all the other great communities that have come before us and won. And I don't want people to think that just because we win, we're better than everybody, or we view ourselves that way. That's not the case at all. We're just continuing to try to build a community for all the people that live here and raise a family here, and just make it a better place for anybody that travels here, or wants to be here. And,
Well,
it's
even if you don't win, um, even if you don't win, Whitfield's still in the conversation and will be for anybody who goes to that film and looks at
yeah,
that film.
that's exactly right.
And you
So we're
can't.
honored. We're honored to be in the conversation, and when we're gonna keep pushing for everything that's possible here, even if we don't win.
Right.
So, and if we do win, we're still gonna keep pushing for everything that's possible, because
Right.
we just scratched the surface on what's the potential here for this community. So,
Exactly. And I wanted to ask you too, how did you get in the running for Downtown Wytheville? Because before you came to this job, you were at the rec center, and
yeah,
there was no Downtown Wytheville. So how did you
yeah,
get considered to be the one to kick this thing off?
yeah. So I'll try to make this brief because it's a rather long story. I was doing events. We were trying to bring awareness. We kept seeing downtowns around us and throughout the nation that were, we're doing revitalization efforts. And, not that our downtown was, our downtown was getting to a situation where people were avoiding it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the main street of the old and what people remember, and all those things. So we had a few council members that were adamant on trying to bring the heart of community back and bring awareness. So what they did is they formed an executive committee to kind of study, like, okay, what's the best way to do this? And then they found out about the Main Street America. They call it the Main Street approach, where you basically follow guidelines about what to do. And in order to do that, you have to be a designated Virginia Main Street community, which we are, and you have to go through processes. It's kind of like a grant that you have
Mm-hmm.
to follow these guidelines, and you get accredited every year. So at that time, they brought this committee together to bring awareness to bringing the heart of Wytheville back. And I was kind of still with Parks and Rec, and I was on the committee, so I was
Mm-hmm.
doing doing some of the events early on to try to drive people to downtown to just bring awareness of, you know, the revitalization that we wanted to happen. And then the town of Wytheville got a grant, community development block grant for, I think $700,000 at the time. And then they said, well, we don't want to just do one block of construction. We need to consider doing all of Main Street, you know. So then they decided to put some additional funds in and do a full scale streetscape improvement project, and that's kind of what kicked Downtown Wytheville off. Is I was hired shortly after that, encouraged to apply by a council member, and I took the position, and then we were thrust into a downtown streetscape construction project where we were tearing everything up, and it was very challenging in the beginning. But that's how Downtown Wytheville got kicked off, and you know, then we got a community business launch grant and got some businesses out of that. We got 2 breweries out of that, and so that generated some nightlife. And then we just kept getting small win after small win and trying to build on that and make the community aware of what we were trying to do. And you know, that's kind of how it got kicked off.